Great. I can see the first students joining us, which is great. Welcome everybody, and welcome to this live webinar. This is Federica, and I will be your host for today. It will be a great pleasure for us today to tell you more about the University of Milan. We've been running a few events together, and initially we focused on the programs, and then we talked about academic excellence, and today we want to tell you more about how UNIMI supports the students to connect with their future careers. And it is a great pleasure for me to introduce you the speakers for today, because we have the pleasure to have with us Marta, and she's part of the international office at UNIMI. And she will give us an overview of the services, and she will be available to answer any sort of question that you might have regarding the support, the services. So anything, feel free to write your question into the chat, and we will be answering at the end of the presentation. But as you can see, we also have some alumni that studied at UNIMI, different programs, different paths, and they're gonna tell us more about their experience with a focus on their job, their current role. And it is my pleasure to introduce you our panelists. There will be Collaku, that she's a consultant reward well-being and benefits teams at Deloitte. We have Ricieri, and is a senior associate at the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. We have Fatma, she's a governance data specialist at United Stations Development Program. We have Sitora, she's a compensation and benefits survey consultant, reward data intelligence at WTW. And we also have a contribution online from one of the Italian students, Edoardo, and he graduated from molecular biology and is currently working in London. He wasn't able to join us live, but he wanted to share a contribution. While we're waiting for more students to connect, just wanted to remind you all that you can type all your question into the Q&A box, and we will be answering at the end of the presentation. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for more students to join, why don't you just drop us a message into the chat to let us know where you guys are connecting from? Because one of the great things about this event is the fact that we have students connecting from all over the world. So just drop us a message and let us know where you are connecting from. And so we will be able then to see who's the audience for tonight. We have Julia from Brazil. Hi, Julia, and welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining the session. Of course, the idea for today will be to sharing with you the services, the experience of each of the students, but then definitely to also hear about your questions. So do write your question into the chat or the Q&A box, and we will be doing our best to answer them. So just giving a couple of minutes more, and then we will be able to start with our presentation. Great. Meantime, we have Vidal from Pakistan. Hi, welcome. India, South Africa, Hungary, Colombia. Oh, great. It's great to see that we actually having students from all over the world. I believe more students will join, but I guess probably we're ready to start. And then absolutely, then for whoever will join later, there will be opportunity to share your question into the Q&A. So whoever just joined, welcome. We're just about to start with our live session. Today we are connected with the University of Milan, and we're going to give an overview of the services that the university provides to the students connected to what will be their future careers. And it is my pleasure to leave the floor to Marta. She's part of the international office, and she will be giving us a very brief overview about the services. And then the main focus for today will be to hear the testimonials of the alumni. So Marta will be leaving you the floor, and I
Thank
will
you.
be sharing the slides with the audience. Perfect. Great.
Okay, so hi everybody. Thank you for joining us. So I would like to give you a short overview of the ways the University of Milan can support students in connecting with their future careers. So first of all, it encourages so much students to take part in financed mobility programs abroad, within Europe, but also abroad, for a study, for a traineeship, or a thesis research. This kind of experience gives an added value to your CV. It's highly appreciated by recruiters because it increases your soft skills, language knowledge, and lets you collect important contacts for your future career, be both academic or professional. Secondly, I would like to mention a service we offer that is managed by COSP, that offers career guidance to students. In fact, you can contact it to learn how to write a CV in an effective way, to learn the best strategies for a job interview, for instance, and it also organizes recruitment days and job fairs. Another service I would like to mention today, it's the language center, the University Language Center called SLAM, that provides international students Italian language and culture classes for free. I think this is very useful because it's possible to find a job in Milan without knowing Italian. But anyway, this knowledge of Italian, of course, widen your internship and job opportunities. And it's a good thing to take advantage of. Furthermore, UNIMI has an international character. In fact, it's part of several prestigious alliances, such as 4U Plus, that gathers 8 European universities. And together with its highly recognized quality of teaching and research, this offers students the opportunity to establish good relations and networks worldwide. Our degree programs interact with the local, national, and international stakeholders, such as professional organizations, companies, and service providers. This means that they may provide you a list, for example, of internship positions. They might have internship positions reserved for the course's students. And many times a curricular internship can develop in a permanent job in the future. Lastly, I would like to mention the city of Milan itself that contributes so much and foster the opportunities to find a job and to pursue a career because it's so lively and cosmopolitan. It has a lot of cultural resources, and it's considered the economic and financial capital of Italy indeed. So that's all from my part, and I will leave the floor to the panelists.
Perfect. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Marta, for this introduction. And I can see that more students join. So absolutely, whoever just joined, the idea for today is really for you to have more insight about the services offered by the University of Milan. But we do hope that you get inspired by the story of the students that we have here connected, and I'd like to take the opportunity one more time to thank them for their time because they made themselves available to share their experience with us. Wanted to start with one of our panelists. Ricieri, I would like to ask you some questions. So when we presented, so we know that you are a sustainable lawyer and you qualified in Europe and Latin America. The idea will be definitely you will be able to tell us more in person about your experience. So tell us more about your current job and your experience in Milan, anything that you believe could be useful for the audience, for the students that are listening to us and might be thinking about studying abroad, possibly at the University of Milan. So, Ricieri, I will leaving you the floor and I look forward to hearing your testimonial.
Here and very nice to be with you, Federica, and with Marta again. It's been a long time since I was a student in Milan, and Marta was really taking good care of us. So my name is Ricieri Marchi. I'm originally from Brazil, as you mentioned, a lawyer by formation. But my story with the University of Milan starts when I was looking abroad for a master's, and Milan has just launched a program that was the LLM in sustainable development. So it was a very innovative program. It was a mix between a master's in law with sustainability focus, and it was really what I was looking for a next step in terms of a career. I was at the time looking at several universities, some in Europe, some in America. And the University of Milan really caught my attention because it had a mix between hands-on activities and a lot of academic background that is basically standing on a century-long history. So I thought that would be very interesting for me to be exposed to the European academic history. The city of Milan itself also surprised me because, as Marta mentioned, it's not only the economic center of Italy, but it's actually geographically in the center of Europe. So it's very easy for you to access from Milan cities like Paris, like Geneva, like Barcelona, but also for you to be connected with a lot of culture and diversity that I think Europe provides as very other few countries in very other few continents in the world with so many countries together. My course itself was a first year, but was already a very interesting course. We had a very diverse group. So I think the University of Milan did a great job in setting up a classroom that had a mix between Italian students and students from all over the world. This was very important for us to create this academic network, but also a professional network. In the future, many of my colleagues now are working the same field, but in different companies, different countries, and we still maintain in touch, as well as to create a personal connection as well, a network. Most of the classmates are actually my friends up to now. It's been almost 10 years since we started the course together, and we keep in touch, and we have a lifelong network that is very important. And then in terms of, I think, the professional route, so after my master's in the University of Milan, I have started working in a law firm. This global law firm was one of the internship opportunities that the University of Milan provided me with, and it really opened many doors. So I started working with an internship in Milan, in Piazza Fari. From that internship, I moved to, in the same company, to positions in Paris, then in London, moved back to Milan to work as a partner in a startup, then started my PhD in University of Milan, and now I work in Geneva in an international organization, helping business to advance sustainable development goals. So I think that Milan was definitely the spark for me to have an international career, and I think that's what the university provided was really a great mix between innovation, a city that brings in design, fashion, finance, but also a lot of history. So architecture and, all the rich history of Europe and the connection with the world. So couldn't wish for a better place, and I'm very happy to be here today. Looking forward to also welcoming new students to all the courses. Definitely recommend it.
Great, thank you so much. It's great actually to hear more about the story, your international journey, and I hope, this does inspire some of the students that we have connected, because one of the question that sometimes we get asked during this event is about, going abroad to study. Is it worth it? What am I going to expect? Is it going to open me the door for international career? And absolutely, I guess you are one of the example that it is actually possible. Of course, I guess, studying, working hard, but it is something that is achievable. So thank you so much. And for whoever is connected, in case you do have any questions specific to Ricieri about his journey, absolutely use the Q&A box or the chat to ask questions, as will be available. So thank you so much, Ricieri. And I now wanted to ask a couple of questions to Era. So I know you graduated a couple of years ago. So I wanted to ask, why did you choose the University of Milan, and how was your experience?
Hello, everyone. I'm Era. I'm from Kosovo. And I chose the University of Milan initially because I wanted to study in Europe. So I was looking up to several programs just to see the opportunities and so on. And the website of the university provided super clear information regarding the program, how to apply, the deadlines and everything. So it was so easy to navigate for me. And that was a big reason that I chose it, because in other pages, it was difficult to find the information, but also a big reason was also the city of Milan and the department itself. So I studied human resource management and labor studies from 2019 to 2022. So I studied in the COVID times, basically. And I was 3 months going to the university, and then my studies were mostly remote. And yes, what I want to mention about the University of Milan is that I also received the Excellence Scholarship. And I appreciated that a lot, getting this recognition from the university. And during my studies, actually before I graduated, I got an internship in Deloitte with the help of University of Milan, and this is where I work. So I started as an internship, and now I work as a consultant in the human capital department in Deloitte with the offices in Milan in Italy.
Great. If you have to tell us what you like most about this job, so also to give an idea of whoever might be interested in the same career path.
So basically, working in Deloitte is a very international environment. We usually help organizations that have, and corporates that have a large number of employees. We help them with strategic management planning. We help them with workforce frameworks and anything that they need regarding to their human capital structure or their workforce. So the environment is highly international. And of course, you need to be tough. It's a lot of work, but it's also very inspiring, I would say. And you grow a lot in this role.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I can see we're starting to receive some questions, which is great. Keep writing them into the Q&A box. Also, if you have more specific question about Era's journey, absolutely, we are here to answer them. So now I wanted to welcome one of the panelists. I briefly mention where she works at the moment, so I wanted to leave the floor to Fatma. So she studied a PhD in economics, if I'm not mistaken. So she actually has a great international exposure, starting from her master's degree. So Denmark in Aarhus, and then she moved to the University of Milan for a PhD. Currently working at United Nations. I wanted just to leave her the floor to tell us more about her experience. As you could hear, is a lot of international exposure for her. And United Nations, I have to say, is usually one of the questions we get asked. How do you get into such a position? So Fatma, I'll leave you the floor and tell us more about your experience and what you're currently doing.
Thank you, Federica. And I see we have 66 people in the call. Not everyone mentioned where they're from, but I assume everyone is coming from a different country in the world. And I just want to say this really resembles my everyday job. when I have these meetings, this is what it means to work for the United Nations. You're always with people from all over the world all the time. And yeah, so that's how I wanted to start. But let me tell you a little bit about my University of Milan experience and how actually I got here to this point. Yeah, I have a little bit of a different journey because I did my PhD. I didn't do my bachelor nor master degree at the University of Milan, but my journey with the university started with an internship while I was doing my master degree in Denmark. And I was very much interested in doing something research-related internship related to international migration. And it happened so that the Department of Economics at the University of Milan hosts one of the best scholars in this area of research on international migration. So I reached out to them and they were extremely welcoming and happy to host me for a one-year internship. And I really had a wonderful experience, I must say, because the people I worked with, they were extremely available to provide guidance, to spend time with me, to teach me, because research internships are, of course, I mean, it's a steep learning curve. It's not just the regular studies. You're actually starting to apply and do rigorous research with them. So yeah, we really had a wonderful 1 year together doing research. A working paper came out of it, though it was never really published, but still it was an excellent piece of work. And I enjoyed my time so much that I actually decided to pursue a PhD with the same professors as well. So this was kind of a little bit my journey. Just to say that what I really enjoyed about the University of Milan program, especially in economics, was a little bit more theoretical background in comparison to what I did in Denmark, where it was really much more hands-on. Whereas at the University of Milan, we managed to put this both theoretical and applied line of work, which seeing later in my career, I really appreciate now. I know as students, we always hated on this theory. What is it? I mean, I don't understand it. How can I apply it in real life? But really later on, I think I started appreciating this. And I wished I had a little bit more theory, I guess, during my studies. Yeah, I mean, just to say that during my time at the University of Milan, I actually benefited from the courses, the Italian courses, which was really nice. So my Italian is a little bit rusty now after leaving the country for many years, but I still remember, and I met wonderful people and friends. Yeah, and Milan actually, it was also really nice for my PhD program because we could also benefit from all the seminars and activities that were going on in Bocconi, in Bicocca, in Cattolica. So you have also this large community. But I don't know how it's going to be, whether it's going to be similar experience if you do a bachelor or a master in the program. Anyway, it was mentioned Milan is a great city, but I'm a big lover of the mountains and sports. So if you love the mountains, hey, Milan is the place. I actually go very often, still doing some skiing in the Alps. So it's really a big plus, or it was for me. Okay, so that's really the overall about my experience at University of Milan and the PhD. After that, I pursued 1 more year of a postdoc. And only then I decided that perhaps academic career doesn't really fit my personality and we need to explore different areas. And I ended up in Vienna working for United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. That was my first job with the United Nations. It was really heavily focused on research. So I could use my research skills that I gained during my PhD at the University of Milan to apply them in my United Nations job. Was doing heavy research on crime, corruption, violence, and I traveled to many different countries. One of my first assignments was Nigeria, a country you would never go to otherwise. And then 4 years later, I, with my job, moved to Afghanistan, where I spent 2 years working with people that were drug addicts. We don't really say that anymore, but just to kind of in a simple language, people that are, abusing drugs. And after that, I ended up now in Norway. I moved here for the past 8 months. I just want to say that really, I think all this international experience that I gained, which started with an international bachelor, master program, and a PhD, is really what sparked this passion to be in an international community and to look for a job in an international environment. And not only that, but it really broadens your horizons into your thinking, into building your personality. And it's much happier life when it's so colorful, with being surrounded by wonderful people from different cultures and countries. So that's from my side.
Great. So thank you so much, Fatma, for sharing these with me. We received some questions. There was one for Ricieri. I know that Ricieri, you might have to leave earlier. So I just wanted maybe to address this question just to make sure that you will be able to answer before moving on with Sitora. I'm sorry, Sitora, I just wanted to give the opportunity to answer. So we have one of these students that is from Brazil, and he's read about master programs. Interesting. If you'd like to share anything, what is the most important thing about when applying to a master program? If there is anything related to the career that you think is worth it to mention, or in general, if you could share a little bit more about the admission process. One note I wanted to make is the admission process vary, of course, from person to person, but in case you might, Ricieri, want to give an overview of what happened with you, if you did mention about work experience or anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Federica, and thank you for the question. I think that in the admission process, as we know, and particularly looking at Brazil and many other countries from the global south or other places not so Western or Europe centered, I would say that I think Europe in this case really values diversity, and it's important for you to bring your perspectives to the classroom. So when you're building your application, you don't need necessarily to try to shape yourself to what is expected, but to really try to leverage and bring on what your world perspective is, leveraging your experiences, what you have done in your country, because diversity in the classroom would be the greatest asset when building up, a future-proof course, a future-proof community. So I would say that with an example from my side, during the course, we had the chance to study many issues from a sustainable development perspective that were happening around the globe, and bringing in the global south, the South American and the Brazilian perspective was always adding value to the discussions and to the classroom. And when starting to work, many of the issues that I was dealing with in Europe-based companies were regarding also either operations abroad or value chains that were linked to operations abroad. So there's always a connectivity. And I think that if you're able to very authentically bring in your experiences and connect with different perspectives, different worldviews, I think that's what's going to take us a step further in really innovating and having sustainable communities. So overall, I'd say in your application, trust your guts, bring in your best experiences, work hard, and good luck. I think it's something that is recognized in the University of Milan. So I fully support you on this road.
Thank you so much, Ricieri, for answering this. And for whoever is connected, if you have specific question to the students or to Marta, feel free to write them. So Sitora, thank you so much for being with us here today, and wanted to ask you, how was your journey at the University of Milan? If there is anything specific that you'd like to share with the audience, why you chose the university, and how was your overall experience?
Thank you, Federica. Thank you for inviting me as a speaker here. Probably among other speakers, I am the recent one because I graduated just in July. So I'm kind of fresh in this thing. Well, it was interesting. Let's say I won't say the same things which others shared. So for me, When I graduated from my bachelor's, which I'm from Uzbekistan, and I did my bachelor's degree in Uzbekistan. So I worked a few years after graduation, and I had an experience in human resource, but I wanted something theoretical, so that's why I decided to have a master's degree, and I wanted to do it in Europe. Let's say there were so many popular programs in other countries like Germany, UK, and other countries, but I really liked Italy from, let's say, long time, and I wanted some warmer country with better food, because before, like in the past, in my bachelor degree, I had Erasmus, so I was in Croatia and I had some problems with let's say food there, the cuisine. So in terms of that, Italy is perfect, I would say, and also the people. So I wanted something closer to my culture. I decided to go on with Italy, and there was only one program in human resource management in University Milan in English. So because I wanted only human resource management, and I applied to that, and yeah, it went well. Let's say this, I got so many benefits which I didn't even expect. Let's say apart from I got let's say selected for 2 scholarships, which the era mentioned excellence, and also another one was a regional scholarship. I think somebody asked about the scholarships. So yeah, then I chose the one regional one because it offered, apart from the, let's say, scholarship, it offered also a possibility to have a student's residence, which is also super great, let's say, because for the student coming from far away, finding accommodation for that price, which university offers, it's super cool. And the scholarship it covers. Apart from that, the place, the dormitory itself, it had so many facilities like a gym and the musical room, and also the people who worked there. So everything was perfect. I also met another students who were from different faculties, not only from my department. So it was interesting to live there, let's say, live the student experience. And yeah, that was, apart from that, another benefit which I didn't also expect was that we had like a student card where they gave us certain credits where we could eat for free, let's say 2 times a day, which is also good because, like, you just come to Milan and you want to study, you just study. You don't think about cooking, you don't think about cleaning, you just, let's say, just study. And it was perfect. I mean, for me, it's a big advantage because, I mean, I don't know about other countries, but I think it's very rare to have just like you come to study and you have everything to do that. So that was, let's say, a benefit. And I also, during my studies, because I participated in other courses which were outside of my program, which is interesting for those students, let's say, who are hesitating in, let's say, they applied for finance, but they want to see something in human resources or in other courses like IT or something. So I was checking other courses. So you have a possibility to participate in different courses and see if you like, and maybe you want to change direction. So it's good. And there were so many workshops which were useful, let's say, you could get them paying, but they were everything offered for free from the university as additional workshops. And another thing which is also benefit, I would say, was the SLAM. I think someone asked in the comments the course of Italian language. I came, let's say, here 2 years ago. I graduated so July, so it's been 2 years since I am in Milan, and I came with 0 Italian, and now I have B2 of B2 level, which allows me to work and communicate, and like I can talk freely in Italian. So it was very useful. It was, let's say, totally offered by university. Yeah, I mean, somebody maybe have different type of, let's say, learning system, but for me it was perfect because, like, I wanted to learn the language, and I learned, and it also helped me in my job because I started working before graduation, first part-time, and then I'm working full-time. So it's totally useful in my career as well. So I think there are so many benefits, let's say, apart from everything has been said earlier before than me.
Because I can see that we already started to receive lots of questions. So if we are ready, maybe we can start to answer some of the questions that we receive, and then we check if we can then resume back to the testimonials. One of the questions that we received for our speakers was for Sitora was how you knew that HR was the right path for you?
It's a very good question. That's why I told you that it's a good thing that you can change the course and see what you like. For me, it was, let's say I graduated in finance for my bachelor, and I worked in a different organizations after graduating in a ministry, in a finance, accounting, so on. But I wanted something different, which is not just the numbers, but working also with people. So somehow I had an experience back in my home country in HR. It was like compensation benefit, which is, let's say, remuneration for employees. And it was actually my professional career, which led me to change the direction. Just, I think the best advice I could give it to you is what I said earlier, that, for example, now maybe you like some kind of subject and you don't know, maybe you should try to go for something which you like a little bit, and then you can still change it, and there is always opportunity, let's say, to get a second degree, or let's say do the master in maybe a little bit different field like I did. So I think it comes after some time. If you cannot have the working experience, so education also helps to find out what is more interesting. And during my studies in the University of Milan, when I had this course of human resource, I understood that it is my true passion, that human resources, when I had also the theoretical part additional to the experience.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Fatma, we do have a question. So they're asking about the United Nations, what do they value in an application? And they're asking, it is really hard to get in.
Very, very good question, especially the second, whether it's hard to get in. Okay, let me start a little bit with what would they value in an application. I think very, very important is international experience, right? So whenever if you go on the United Nations website and you screen through certain type of jobs, it's not a requirement, but it's highly valued, because once you work for an international organization like the UN, if you can show that you have actual experience in being in international environment, that's already a huge plus. So I'd say this is one of the most important things as an entry career. Of course, your academic background, that is also extremely important. But I'd say also doing some internships while you're doing your studies, right? Or be engaged in extracurricular activities, maybe be part of clubs that the university is organizing, or take some extra courses. Yeah, so certainly certain experiences, like a little bit of an internship combined with international exposure. I'd also say they really value people speaking different languages, which also comes with the international exposure, right? So yeah, whether it's really difficult to get in, I mean, I'm not going to make it a very rosy scenario when it's not. It is very competitive, but I'd say it's not impossible. I made it, and there are a lot of other people that are working for the United Nations. So yeah, I think you just have to try. A lot of people are discouraged of trying to even pursue such kind of career because they think, oh, it's impossible to make it, or, you know, these jobs are given in an unfair way. Let me tell you, this is not the case. So yeah, really best of luck. And you try to reach out to people perhaps that are working at the United Nations or see what these people's profiles are. That is certainly something very useful.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. Question for Era. So they're asking, how is Deloitte? So they say it is my dream company and how it is working for Deloitte, and I'm worried I want to get in.
Okay, so in Deloitte, you basically work on projects. So it's not a constant job, but you work on a specific project for a specific amount of time. It depends how big is the project. So it's usually up to 3 to 8 months in a project, and it's always a different company. It's always a different organization. So working in Deloitte means that you have a lot of experience in terms with a lot of managers, a lot of different companies, and you learn a lot how different organizations work, what is their work culture, and how they are organized and so far. Regarding the job itself, I would say it's quite challenging because you need to have a lot of responsibility. You need to deliver on time. Your work has to be very high quality, and sometimes the times are challenging and the tasks are a lot, but you need to find a balance to do that right. And this comes, of course, with gaining experience and then just being confident on yourself, but also your co-workers. Everyone is very inspirational because they have a very high skill set, and everyone is able to support you in that. So it's a trust basically between everyone on their skills, and it's challenging, but it's also very, let's say, collaborative within the team.
Great, thank you. So they do also asking one of the question, which is mainly regarding PhD in general. Again, so for each specific program that it might vary from department, but maybe Fatma, if you can tell us a little bit more how it worked for you. For example, if you reached out to the professor directly, if there is anything in terms of like tips or anything that you could share.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for as you said, that could vary from program to program and how it works. But in general, for economics, what I could advise is if you'd like to pursue a PhD, that you reach out to a potential professor that you'd like to work with during your PhD. I mean, there could be two parallel processes. You could also go for a program that is with general admission, general call for PhD studies, and you can apply. But it's always great to kind of research a little bit beforehand, which could be your potential supervisor, what is the person working on, reach out to that professor and kind of, if you already have an idea of what you'd like to research, because every PhD will come with a proposal. When you apply for a PhD program, you need to submit a research proposal, which doesn't mean that this is what you have to do during the PhD. That could also change later on. But yeah, so as a general rule, you reach out, you discuss, you see whether the professor could potentially be also interested in supervising this area of work, because it could be that they might not have the capacity or some other plans. And also that certainly increases the chances of you getting admitted to the PhD program. Professor already knowing you and knows what the kind of research interest you have and whether can assess whether you're a good fit or not. But as far as, I mean, I don't know if things have changed, because I started my PhD at University of Milan 2012, so it was some time ago. But back then, of course, there was also a general call for the PhD studies where you can just submit your proposal, not necessarily knowing professors a priori. But the better strategy is you always reach out to the professors beforehand.
Okay, thank you. One question for Era, because I know that you actually had an interview through the University of Milan. So basically they were asking how does the process work, and usually how long does it take from the moment, let's say, you have a first conversation to the actual internship procedure or offer?
Okay, so I got a reference from my professor of the University of Milan. So for me, actually, it was very fast because it was an internship program, and Deloitte is really fast with these type of procedure in recruitment, especially if they have an open position that needs to be filled. So it actually depends how much they need someone, but in my situation, it was really fast. I think from the moment that I applied until I got the internship, it was about 1 month and a half, like 6 weeks.
Perfect. Sitora, you mentioned about learning Italian, and one of the questions is how hard it is, and if you would recommend to learn Italian to study at the University of Milan, or just, in terms of like living in the city.
It depends, of course, on the person. Let's say, for me, it was totally different language from my native language. So it has certain, let's say, the grammar, which is not super easy. But I would say living in Milan, it helps a lot because here, instead of just studying, I was also practicing in my daily life. So even you go to supermarket, you order in the restaurant, and you have like classmates Italian, so you can speak and practice it a lot. So I think practice is the best way. So for me, let's say course was the theoretical part, and the real life living here, it was a practical. So I just mixing them, it helped me to fasten the process to learn it.
Great. Thank you. Now we receive lots of questions, so I might wanted also to ask, to give the opportunity to ask Marta if there was something that you wanted to add, or maybe just in general, because I know that lots of students ask regarding specific programs, specific application, and I just wanted to remind you all that we will be following up with the brochure and some extra information, but maybe Marta, if there was anything else that you wanted to highlight or to share.
Yes, they're asking a lot of questions about our programs, and I'm very glad that you guys have this interest in our university. Generally speaking, to enter our bachelor's degree programs, you need to pass an entrance test that usually is TOLC test delivered by CISIA. For international students, it can be online and in English. For master's degree programs, admission is generally based on entry requirements evaluation. So a teaching board will evaluate your academic background to assess if it's coherent with the study path. Many of you asked me what happens if you have some gaps. You need to contact the programs coordinator well in advance to fill the gaps. For example, by sitting exams, also the University of Milan, or attending crash courses. But this is we can. I give an overview, generally speaking, because of course you need to carefully check the calls for applications for each program, because each study program establishes its own admission requirements and process. So my advice is starting from January 2025 is to keep monitoring our website and check the calls for application, or you can also write us. Our contact email is international.recruitment@unimi.it. So you can ask any questions you have, and we will answer you with very detailed information.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're coming towards the end of the webinar, and before sharing Edoardo's testimonials, I wanted to thank all the panelists for being connected, for sharing your experience, and I believe it was very, very inspiring because each of you has different background, different story to share, and I really much appreciate the fact that each of you focus on a different aspect, and it was also great to hear more from Marta regarding all the services that are available at the University of Milan. And it was great to see the interest from the students so thanks for all of you that were connected and actually asking lots of questions. We might not have answer to all, but we're still going to be online while the contribution is on, and we'll try to do our best to answer. But in case we haven't provided you with let's say the best answer because we know that we didn't have a lot of time. It was really great to have you with us connected, and we will do our best also to follow up via email. So there is an email address that Marta shared, and we're also going to share with you via email after the event. Same way we're going to share with you the recording of the event, so you will be able to hear once again the testimonials of our students, the presentation, and in case you do have any further question, you will be able then to address them to the team. So thank you so much, and I'd like to conclude the presentation by sharing with you the testimonial of Edoardo. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be connected live with us today, and as I mentioned, he graduated in molecular biology of the cell, and then he had an experience in Japan, and then after moving back to Italy, then he moved to the UK when he finished his PhD, and is currently working as a research associate for Wild Bioscience. It's a spin-off of the University of Oxford, and I'm now going to share the contribution he has shared with us, so you can hear more about his stories. Perfect.
Hello everyone, I'm Edoardo Vignardi. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend the webinar today, but when I've been told about this initiative, I wanted to record a video to share my experience as a student of the master course of molecular biology of the cell, because I have really amazing memories of my time studying at the University of Milan. Indeed, these were amazing years. They changed completely my life. I come from a very small reality in the countryside of Milan, and so I've always been used to meet the same type of people. But thanks to this masterclass, which was completely in English, I could meet people from every part of the world. And this really opened my limits and made me start to take a life path that I would not imagine. So on a personal point of view, I grew up so much, and also from a professional point of view, because the classes were really proactive. The professors put a lot of effort to not deliver just the information, but they want the students to think critically about what they are studying. And I found this during my career as a scientist an amazing quality and skill that I acquired. Even now, I still use many of the skills that I got during my master years, let's say. So it was a really 360 experience for me, personal and professional point of view. It was a great time for me. After my master, I stayed for 10 months in the same lab where I did my master internship, and during these 10 months I spent 3 months in Japan thanks to a European staff exchange program. And there again my desire of understanding, seeing more rather than just Italy became like a fire was burning stronger. So after Italy, I had to move to the UK to start my PhD in crop science, and I spent 4 years and a half in the UK After that, I moved back to Italy at the University of Milan for 1 year as a postdoc. And after this year, I moved back to the UK, where I am at the moment, working for a plant biotechnology company that is a spin-off from the University of Oxford. And I can say I found the job of my dreams. And I'm 100% sure that all the steps of my career led me to this place. And I believe that the first big step was choosing the master degree of molecular biology of the cell. So yeah, this is my experience. I wish you will have something so nice and great in wherever is going to be your path. And I hope this helped you to clarify a bit what you're going to expect if you're going to attend the Master of Molecular Biology of the Cell in Milan. And yeah, wherever is going to be your path, if in Milan or anywhere else, I wish you the best of luck.